medical functions. All right. Good morning, everybody. Hope you guys have yourselves a fantastic Monday, feeling sharp, refreshed, recharged, and yeah, ready to go on what should hopefully be a strong trading day here. Should be back to normal within reasonable context here this morning. Let's see if that actually happens or what the market has in store for us here today. But yeah, been back in Canada, got in last night. Got a reasonable night's sleep, so hopefully it's a pretty good trading day, and we can kind of go from there. I did come back to seeing snow on the mountains, which is a little bit of a mental hurdle to get over. So we'll see how that behaves or how things go from there. But excited to see what the markets have in store for us. Excited to basically keep building right on some of this momentum we've established over the last we'll say month or so, and looking to keep building and compounding and growing. A few things here to mention right before we kick off the stream here in earnest. So just want to say a really big congratulations to Charles, Thomas, Dwayne, Patricia, and Matt, who all emailed me over the say Thursday, Friday for requesting their first payouts from prop firms. So congratulations, everybody. Really, really well done. You guys should be thrilled with getting paid, and hopefully that is the smallest payout, right, you guys will ever get in your careers. But congratulations. That is absolutely fantastic to see. And yeah, more of the same. The other element here, right, is just, I guess, one last thing from an operational perspective. If you are trading your eval account here today, or you're trading with your first day funded or first day after a payout or anything along those lines, just take it slow, right? Don't rush it. Don't try to force it. Don't try to put yourself in situations where we're going to get back to normal or where you're going to regret basically trading, right? Control the variables you can't control. You made money and you got to that position in the first place because you were a sociopath or a psychopath or, you were very obsessive over protecting your risk, protecting your profits, and being selfish with your trading decisions. I probably say this 3 or 4 times a week, right? But everything that I do on a daily basis here inside the stream is to make me money, right? Every decision I am making, every trade I am taking, every take profit, every stop loss, every position sizing decision that I make is inherently exceptionally selfish, right? I am doing what I think is best for me and my account or accounts at all times. And I would recommend, right, that you do the same thing there. Be accountable to yourself over your trading, be accountable to yourself over your decisions, and be deliberate in how you choose to behave. That will make you a lot more money than waiting to see what I do to a certain extent. And if you're happy with how much you're up or you don't like how much you're down, you don't have to sit in that feeling for longer, right? So be very selfish, be very deliberate in how you're managing risk, be aggressive in closing your trades, right, as your P&L is increasing, and just expect yourself to get better, not to be perfect. The thing that probably drives me the most insane is the pocket watching, right? Everyone thinks that they're going to make more money by trying to be like me or to be like Ian or to be like Harv or to be like Susan. And in the reality, right, is that you won't. You need to learn how to manage your own basically insecurities, your own greed, your own fear, your own strengths, your own weaknesses. And once you learn how to manage those variables, then you can start to improve as a trader. So don't put this expectation on yourself where you have to be perfect right away. Put the expectation on yourself that you have to get better and you have to improve. And if you focus on doing that, you're going to make a lot more money than if you're trying to be me or Warren Buffett or anyone else, right? So be very deliberate in how you choose to behave. Be very deliberate in doing what is best for you and your accounts at all times. And we can go from there. All right. So first things first, right? Economic calendar here this morning should be a little bit more reasonable here today. Fine. Got pretty busy calendar here this week. A lot of Fed speak. But fine. Main thing here that we're seeing this morning, right, is a lot of tech strength, basically led by AMD. So we'll talk about AMD in a little bit. But in the short term, let's start mapping things out here. Let's figure out what we want to do here this AM. And then let's go from there. Okay. So ES, right? Red candle, increasing volume, gap up. So we're going to call this a 2 out of 3 to the downside with volume. I don't need to particularly change that. We're at all-time high, so higher high, higher low. So I think that there is still some sort of reasonable expectation. Yeah, Doug, you could see the calendar here for yourself, right? On Forex Factory, nothing here today is red folder. Again, right, man, please control the variables you can control. I'm not gatekeeping any of this information, and you can find that all yourself very, very easily. So yeah, 2 out of 3 to the downside with volume. We're at all-time highs, higher high, higher low. I think reasonable to expect that there is probably a two-way tape here this morning, right? We could look for a breakout towards 6,800. We could look for a breakdown here towards 6,750. I think either one of those scenarios could be very, very reasonable. The main thing, right, is AMD is up like, I don't know, 40% or something along those lines, or 25% here this morning. So I think that's going to be a big driver here. If we're going to continue to see a tremendous amount of momentum get driven through that decision, then we're going to be in really good shape here, right? So let's see how it goes. But 6,800 would be the starting point, and then that's all-time high. So we'll just go, 10 points along the way. I don't know where that 50 came from. All right, and then to the downside here, 6770 would be the starting point. And then we're going 60, 40. I'm going to go down to like 700. One last thing here, team. So obviously I wasn't doing any calls on Thursday, Friday. So there have been a bunch of new calls that have been booked. I just want to clarify, guys, right, what the point of the one-on-one calls are. I've had 3 or 4 that have been booked, basically asking me for like tax strategies or things along those lines. I cannot help you with any of those types of things. There's too many people from too many different parts of the world for me to be able to understand your individual tax like circumstances. And B, right, I don't do my own taxes, right? I hire someone else to do that. And so I simply cannot provide any advice or feedback or help in that context. The point of those one-on-one calls, right, is to go over your trades and your trading. Anything else is an inappropriate topic to be booking one of those one-on-one calls. So I would really recommend, guys, that we are very deliberate, right, with how we are choosing to do those, as I need to protect basically my time a little bit better, right? If I can't answer that question or I'm not in a position where I can help, even from just like a liability perspective, please don't put me in those situations. It's very challenging then, right, to be able to give you any appropriate feedback. So I would really appreciate it, guys, if we could be a little bit more on topic with some of those discussions. That would be very, very well received. And so I would really appreciate it if we could control those variables just a little bit better. All right, NQ. So same thing here on NQ, bigger gap up, which obviously makes sense with the way that AMD is moving here this morning, right? That's going to have a higher market cap weighting in the NASDAQ versus in the S&P 500. Does push us to 25.2. So starting point here would be 25.3. And then, we can probably go like 25.6, 25.7. And then to the downside here, right, our starting point would be back down towards 25K. Cool. And we'll go from there. Okay, CL inside bar. So it gives us flexibility, right, to be able to trade this in both directions. Starting point here would be 62.17. So we'll call that just 62. And then 62.50 would be our starting or our next level here. 63, 60. So we'll go up to like 65. I think that's pretty reasonable. Cool. And then to the downside here, right, pre-market low is $61. And then we can go down towards like 60. So 61, we're going 60, 50, 60. All right, so looks reasonable. Okay, Apple, green candle, increasing volume, gap down. So 2 out of 3 to the upside with fall, fine. Tesla, 1 for 3. Oh, I can't type. All right. Microsoft, inside bar. Amazon, 2 out of 3 to the downside with volume, fine. Nvidia, technically a 3 for 3. We'll call this a weak one, right? Weak candle shape, weak volume profile, pretty big gap down relative to that. Okay, AMD, right? What a freaking monster rip. So insane. I would imagine that this thing probably stalls out a little bit here this morning. So just be a little bit patient with it. Let's not force it. Okay, Meta, 3 for 3 here to the downside. And then Netflix, 1 for 3 to the downside. Google, 2 out of 3 with volume. And then the old Vixaroonie hanging out at 16.83. So implied volatility here today of a little bit less than 1% on NQ here already, right? We're at about 1% of implied or an implied move here already. What that tells me, right, is that 2 things. If we continue to break out, right, and we get kind of a squeeze trade here a little bit today, then that would actually be a really strong indication of like a really good trending market. If price action is slow, if volume narratives are quiet, if we see like a minimal range here today, Then the other element, right, is it's like a catch your breath day after such a big bit of overnight price action. So let's see how the volume shows up here to open up today's session. And I think very much, right, at least from an NQ perspective, if our names aren't catching up to AMD, now they're not all going to rip up 60 points or 80 points here this morning. But if they're playing catch up to AMD, we could get ourselves a really nice continuation day. If AMD kind of stalls and everyone is kind of looking at that instead of trading our other tickers, a very good scenario, right? Or a very good possibility that just ends up being a slow, choppy, quiet, kind of boring day. And we might have to just be very patient and deliberate. Again, want to stress this every single day, but as traders, we get paid for our decisions, not our time. So just because we're back to watching the markets here today, just because I'm back trading in front of my computer instead of from my laptop, doesn't mean I have to place a trade, right? Doesn't mean the market owes me anything. Doesn't mean that anything is owed to me or anything along those lines, right? There's no entitlement to that. I just need to focus on trading my system, controlling the variables I can control, and basically avoiding as much self-sabotage as possible. That's my priority here this morning. If I stick to my rules, I trade my system, I follow my technique, then I know I'm going to make money long term. If I choose to like reward my dopamine receptors, then I'm probably going to make dumb decisions and I'm going to put myself in situations where I am unlikely to make any money over a longer sample size. So that's the objective here today. Got something I want to read you guys briefly. And let's, sorry, I was reading this last night or on the plane. So I was reading, I love to read a lot of biographies and stuff like that. And I was reading something on Marcus Aurelius. You don't know who he is. He was a Roman emperor, kind of known as like a Stoic, right? Or one of the Stoics. And there was something that I highlighted on the plane as I was reading it. So Marcus Aurelius once said, "Why are you so afraid of losing when nothing in the world belongs to you?" And he was right. You have nothing to lose. Time isn't yours. Money isn't yours. Possessions aren't yours. Even the closest people in your life aren't yours. So worry less about losing things. You don't actually have them and you never will. That might sound negative, but it's actually freeing because you have nothing to lose. So what that means to me, right, is that the fears or the emotions or the feelings, right, that we feel on a trading day, we impose on ourselves, right? They aren't real. They are not a reality, right, that we have to choose to accept. And it is our choice, right, to basically feel impacted by those things. And so it's the same thing with trading, right? You have nothing to fear if you trade your system and you pursue things for yourself. You shouldn't be afraid of making a decision or taking a bet or trying to get better or believing in yourself, because you aren't owed anything anyway, right? So I would really take that to heart. I mean, maybe at 30,000 feet, it sounded a lot more profound than the way I described it, but just don't, yeah. Our emotions are a choice, right? They're something that we impose. They're something that we give to ourselves. And so choose, right, the ones that you choose to believe. And I think one of the most important revelations I had in my life, and kind of felt stupid when somebody told me this, but most of the thoughts I have in my head, right, about myself, about other people, about the market, aren't real, right? Or they aren't true. So we don't need to believe everything that we think, because most of the time it's not actually there to help us or to make us better or to set us up or to do anything along those lines, right? So if we can learn to not feed that paranoid brain, right? And we instead focus on, yeah, the things that we actually care about, then we choose what we care. Then I think we can quiet down the voice in our heads a lot more. We can slow down how we choose to behave. And ultimately, I think we'll be a lot more successful as traders. I think one of my, I don't know why I'm so preachy here this morning, so apologies. But yeah, I think it's just really important that we choose to define the game that we want to play, right? That we're not forcing anything, we're not rushing things, we're not imposing beliefs or tricking ourselves into things, we're not comparing ourselves to others, we're not pocket watching, we're not making ourselves feel like we're valued as human beings because we've got a nice car or a fancy watch. Those things don't matter. They're not real. They don't make you happy. So choose to play a different game, right? That would be my advice. All right, enough of that. Let's focus on the market. Let's focus on trading. Let's see how things set up here this AM. And yeah, let's get after it here, team. So, I mean, markets have opened. We've got an initial fake out on NQ, a bit more of a breakdown there on ES. Not supported by any volume here yet. So we got to be a little bit patient. There's no rush for me to do anything here. I have an active setup, but I don't have any active confirmations. So no reason to force anything. All right, I'm just gonna go fill up my cup of coffee here, guys, before I get into another rant. So just bear with me. I'll be back in a minute. Um, Depends, Vic, on what broker or what platform you're using. A lot of brokers don't give you very good um like replay features, right? That makes it reasonable in any context. So like trading view, right, doesn't give you a real-time replay. So like practicing your executions on that in hindsight isn't particularly helpful. Other platforms will have different ones. But I'm a believer that it's better to practice without the power of hindsight because everything is easy when you already know what happened. Yes, starting to give us a little bit of volume here. This could be pretty interesting. Same thing with NQ. If this thing could close out as a reasonable candle shape, that could be pretty interesting too. But for now, looking a bit more likely to be an ES setup than an NQ setup. Let's see. Maybe not. That was a weird noise. Kind of a weak close at the very end there. So ES would look the most appealing here for now. So fib tool, right, from profit target to stop loss initially would have been right high of confirmation on the downside, but immediately broke down. So we're using the aggressive entry technique. So stop loss would have to be on what would be perceived as our potential entry candle. Let's see if this gives a little shake and fake here first prior to then breaking down. $42, still pretty early. What do you mean? How do you view two stock candles at once? Well, I don't know what that means, Renee. Because these are candles, right? So I'm not viewing two candles here. I'm viewing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles at the moment, plus all of Fridays. So I'm not quite sure what your comment is. If you're having issues, right, with or you don't understand how to use TradingView, I would recommend that you Google how to use TradingView or YouTube it and spend 30 minutes playing around with it. Asking honestly me how to use TradingView when we're setting up for a trade is a really an appropriate time to ask that question. All right, so we're not getting an entry here on this 3-min time frame, right? On ES, this thing broke down, couldn't get the justifiable risk-reward ratio. So let's see if we can get maybe an opportunity to show up here on the 5. We got about 50 seconds to go, which gives us plenty of time. If it does, NQ then becomes a little bit more reasonable here. So we've got further to go, right, relative to ES. So ES, our target here would be 67, 68, 50. Maybe, yeah, 68. So a little bit less room, right, or a little bit less potential follow through for us. Where at least on NQ, right, we're going to have a little bit more than 100 points. So we can very easily get ourselves that one handle move. Not the best candle close. It's still closed under low of day, so it is strong enough. Just a little bit suspicious. I don't know. Let's see. It would have to look like something like that. Now, you would need to pull in at least into 60, ideally deeper. So, like, blue line. Okay. So, starting to watch this a little bit here. And stop would be, let's call it 84. So about 20 points of risk, right? To be a one contract play, at least for myself personally. Let's see how this thing behaves here. Kind of interested in potentially seeing a bit of a fake out. Right, mainly because of this, right? So AMD is stalling or it's not moving a tremendous amount. I don't want to front run NQ, right? Too much here yet. Okay, so again, we're just watching here for now, right? I'm being very, very patient. I kind of expect this to be a possible little fake out scenario first. I'm not in like a rush to pull the trigger on anything here yet. Okay, a little bit better here. Still not perfect. A little inside bar, right? So no rush yet. And if this thing just tightens up, right, that also is extremely reasonable. I would not be opposed to trading that. The reason why I'm being very patient here, right, so I want to make sure that my timing is correct. I don't get paid for being early. I think all the entries I would have had, okay, maybe could have pulled out 1 hour move or something along those lines, which would have been great. That's a nice start to the day. But then it pulls back, it stalls, it doesn't move, it does whatever. So let's be patient. Okay, CL is not giving me the volume I would kind of hope for, so I gotta still be pretty patient here. Okay, at least AMD starting to sell off, so that should create a little bit of pressure here on the indexes. Let's see if they want to play catch up. I don't think I'd want to be very aggressive in playing a divergence of that. Again, would rather be just a little bit patient here. And not increasing volume, so it's not a reversal. So, I mean, this 5-min candle, right, continues to still be confirmation. Neither this 945 or so far this 950 candle have invalidated, right, this idea, but they've also not moved, right? So we've done a pretty good job here being patient so far. Bit boring, but that's the way it is. Could I do something like that? Maybe. Pretty aggressive. Gonna wait it out for now here still. I don't know if I see anything obvious yet. It'd have to look like that, which again, I'm not super convinced by. Oh, I'd still be looking at this. Okay. It's AMD at 209. It was 211 last time we looked, so it continues to sell off, right? Showing us that downside strength. That's a relative term, but excuse me. How's everyone feeling this morning? I feel like we're a little bit quiet on the chat here today. Yeah, fair enough, Harry. Fair enough. I'll say one thing, right? I think you'll know you're probably born to be a trader when you stop getting the cases of the Mondays, right? When you wake up excited to trade. Logan, I'm not going to acknowledge your Broncos propaganda. I was unable to watch the game because I was in international waters. So I'm pretty sure that means it didn't happen. Pretty sure. Yeah, fuck Kevin Patullo, James. He's a scumbag. Guy can't call an offense to save his life. Nepo hire. And again, team, we've done a really good job here basically avoiding getting stuck, right? So, yeah, a bit boring, but this is not a ticker or a move that has been significant here yet. Bit better on ES. I'm not, Harv, not really. If I were to say I'm a baseball fan, it would be probably the Yankees, but only because the baseball team I played for as a kid was the Yankees, like the little league team. Kind of the longer price action basically hangs out at these lows, the less convinced I'm going to be of how things go. Like, I love the idea of baseball. Baseball is a beautiful sport, but watching 200 games over the course of a year, ain't nobody got time for that. Or at least myself personally. That's too much. My true loves are the Eagles and Chelsea Football Club. Those are where I find my joy in life. Yeah, big breakout there on CL. It's a little bit suspicious. It's a huge breakout. Yeah. Ain't that the truth, Logan? AMD 208 now, so it keeps dumping, but markets are kind of consolidating throughout. CL, I don't trust, right? So if we're going to have such a big rip there, why is it like stall out or feel like it gets stuck in molasses the following candle? That tells me more capitulation than continuation. Like that volume is almost like too big, like it's compensating for something that isn't there. Oh, no way, Ian. He's your cousin? That's cool. That's really cool. Okay, maybe here on NQ, we're starting to get some developments, interesting stories. Let's see how this closes. Like you got that fake out, right? So, maybe this is our opportunity here now for bears. Let's see how it closes. Ideally, as close to 150 as possible here. Doesn't seem like it's going to happen. Kind of seems like it's more a reversal, but that's a doji, so I can't trade that as a reversal candle. So again, might just have to be delay that confirmation. Not strong enough candle here to the downside on ES to trust it either. Okay, so maybe we're starting to set up here for that reversal scenario, right? Let's see how this candle closes. 30 seconds to go. Oh, I just feel like markets are slow today, though. They've got a case of the Mondays. Okay, 10 seconds. Not a terrible close, not a terrible one at all. So we'd be looking like something like this as our starting point. Maybe have to go aggressive entry technique here. Let's see. I would prefer aggressive for sure. That would be, less than 10 points of risk, which would be pretty much ideal. So I'm going to start to get this set up a little bit here. I'm going to be patient, though. I'm going to be very, very patient. Stop loss 170. So has made a higher high here. Ooh. All right. Fuck you, bulls. Jesus. All right. So now stop would have to be 160. Yeah, I call it 160. So 10 points lower. And again, right, we keep getting good evidence to be patient, right? That was quite the little rug pull. All right, so at least we've got the fake out established. Let's see how this thing behaves. And again, we have to try to remind ourselves, right? It's not to try to catch a falling knife here. So we're waiting to see that nice little pullback, which we just got. So let's see if we can find an entry now. Again, this would be to the upside, right? This would be to the upside. And all we're looking for here is two things. We're looking for a tight risk reward ratio, and we're looking for an opportunity where we can keep our risk really small. I mean, do the math, right? It's less than 10 points of risk as is to 161. So what's 10 times 20, right? It's $200. So you have to figure out what your max loss number is and then work backwards from there, right? So think about it in zones, like 13 points or more, I'm going one contract. 12 points or less, I'm going two. 8 points or less, I'm going three. Right? You guys need to be able to understand how to do those calculations, because if you don't understand the risk that you're taking when you enter that trade, you're always going to feel a lot of anxiety, right? Like you wouldn't hire a contractor to redo your bathroom without getting a quote on how much the work is going to cost first. So why would you be willing to place a trade without understanding how much it's going to cost you if you're wrong, right? And like TradingView does that calculation for you very easily, right? So you should have no excuses over not doing it or not putting in that information. And you need to think for yourself there, right? Be selfish. If your max loss is not $500, what's me telling you what my contract size is going to do anyway, right? So be selfish. And selfish doesn't mean someone else doing it for you. That means doing it yourself, right? It means relying on nobody else. Guys, figuring out your position sizing is really, really easy with TradingView. That's why we recommend it as an execution platform. Because all you do is you go in, okay, put in your price, you put in your stop loss, and it tells you how much you're risking. If you don't like that number, you size down. If you think it's too much or too little, you size up. So all you got to do is plug in those numbers and then look at this number. That's all you have to do. And that's going to be a lot faster than asking me, Michael, what should I do? What should I do? What should I do? Be accountable to yourself and figure it out. Shit's easy. Yeah, still watching here, right? We maybe want to see a fake out here through those lows. Let's see if it bounces here. It did give us a little fake out, but maybe a little bit too quickly. Again, being patient. Okay, better. So stop loss would be 136. And we're looking for elevator up, right? So far, we're only seeing elevator down. So I'm still, or shouldn't say confident. I still think that there's going to be a lower low here prior to an entry. That was a little bit better. So you're risking 6 points here, right? You'd be risking 6 points. So $120 a contract. Do the math. Not hard. Okay, guys, I am in average price 140.75. Oh, I just got stopped out. Potentially try this again here. I had my stop loss set incorrectly. I had it set at 136 instead of 134. So that is on me. Sloppy, sloppy, sloppy. Ah, that was a stupid mistake. Cost me a very nice win. I haven't done that in a very long time. Bullshit. Ah. See, just a self-inflicted wound there. Nice work, Jack. Yeah, that was really sloppy of me. I'm sorry, guys. Literally just operational mistake. So that cost me $270. Not the end of the world, but very avoidable. It's $1,000 swing right there. There we go. Good job. How much time we got? 13. Ugh. Such an avoidable mistake. Dumb, dumb, dumb. All right, we're still setting up, so I might be able to get my revenge here. Let's see. I'm not doing anything stupid. I'm not going bigger position sizing, right? I'm not increasing my risk here. I'm not doing anything along those lines. I made an operational mistake. Shit happens. Move on, right? So stop here, 156. And I'm like quadruple checking that this time. And we need to see it make a higher high first, right? Prior to looking for an entry. Now it would be 154. You're looking at 12 points, right? 2 contracts. Okay, now we want to see a gentle pullback here. Oh, such karma for saying trading view is easy and then making a mistake. Such karma. All right. Okay, let's see if it pulls back just a little bit more here. Sweet. All right, guys, I am in 164.25, 164.25. Stop loss 154, 2 contracts. Let's see how this thing goes. So far, so good. We'd like to see this thing clear 170 with some conviction. Maybe stalling out a little bit more than I would like at that price. So we'd like to see it real. I mean, ultimately, even probably that 180 handle, right, is probably what it needs to get through for me to have conviction it's going to run for a while. So first step would be get over 170, hold it. Next step, get over 180. So this is our first attempt here at 170. Let's see if it can. Don't like that too much. Let's try again. It's bouncy, but in kind of the wrong way. Five seconds. Don't do it. Not great volume. Kind of a weak, pathetic candle. There's 170, first touch of it. Let's see if we can get over and hold it. There we go. And that should put you now green on the day, right? If you had the same stupid mistake I made. Let's see if this thing can keep pushing. Beautiful. Now it needs to get over 180, right? Now it needs to get over 180, which it just did with some conviction. There we go. Beautiful, team. Beautiful. Oh, don't like the stall out. That maybe is a bit annoying. Okay, I have just pyramided into this position. So average price here now is 169 for total contracts. And I'm just going to look to close this on a decent pop up and over. Too aggressive. Okay, go, 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 go. So I got a real bad price on my pyramid. I could have gotten way better. I kind of made that a little bit more difficult for myself than I needed to, but still in this. Kind of debating getting out. Ooh. Too aggressive. Been too aggressive on this trade. All right, guys, I'm out. That was dumb, dumb, dumb. Too aggressive. To not close basically at that 185. That was really stupid. So, well, minus 860.15. Yeah, I was dumb. So I even exceeded my max loss number on that trade, which is a bit disappointing. Nothing too crazy. Divergence I don't like. Yeah, that pyramid was stupid. In hindsight. Basically just doubled up. Yeah, what should have been a small loss. That's all right. On to the next one. So one operational mistake with just a shitty stop loss, like incorrect stop loss price. One probably take profit mistake here. So two kind of like self-inflicted gunshot wounds. Happens, but annoying. $30, early-ish. Pretty light volume. Because here's the interesting thing, right? Pretty much everything we have in this green box is just dip buyers, right? We've only seen dip buyers defend that area here so far. Like a little volume divergence entry into that zone could be interesting. But I don't want to make any dumb mistakes on this one. That should be avoidable. AMD back up to 211. So that's at a nice little pseudo bounce here. 154 was our previous stop loss. So just like keeping these, you know, call them road signs or whatever you want to call them, just in mind here still. So I would say like today so far, right? I've had two operational mistakes versus two, or like two execution mistakes versus two strategy mistakes, right? Like, yeah, it's been a self-inflicted wound day versus a market being a pain in the butt day. Both positive and kind of a pain in the ass. I know it's not very helpful. But again, be patient, be patient. If it's strong, we'll get a look here. I'm very interested in that volume divergence. Maybe something like this. Maybe a little bit egotistical for now. So it's still like this, just wait. What you don't want to do, right, is try to catch a falling knife. It's maybe a little bit of a falling knife catch attempt. So I'm going to be very, very patient here. All right, better. At least something there. You probably want to go fake out under 128. Be patient for now. Nice work, Brian. All right. Okay, let's see. There's that potential little fake out. Looking at a 125 stop loss, we'll call it. Let this thing close. Make sure it closes as a fake out. 125. Too slow so far. Better. 123.75. 123. Hey guys, I am in average price 125, stop loss 121.50, 4 contracts. Let's see if this thing can push. Again, just playing that fake out entry technique. Good times. Okay, keep pushing here, you sociopath. Keep going, keep going. There it goes. Let's see if this thing can keep pushing here. There it goes. There it goes. Beautiful. All right. So now really focusing on basically just not being a greedy dumbass. Because this is turning into a very nice win there. That's $1,400, right? So let's see if this thing can keep pushing. Because this should put you green on the day here, team. This 100% should be putting you green on the day. Let's see if this thing can keep going. Come on. One more good pop here. One more good pop. Let's go, Eric. Well done, man. Congratulations. You avoided the operational mistakes I made, so awesome work. All right, this thing is starting to push here, guys. That's 15. Okay. So average move here is, I didn't like that little reaction. Sorry, that's what caused me to stop. Kind of a disaster. Feels like deja vu to that last trade a little bit, right? Try to give it as much time as I can, but looks a little bit like a fake out. Let's go, Austin. $1,800. Congratulations. Let's fricking go. Hey guys, I got stopped out protecting my entry there. I got stopped out protecting my entry. Or closed it protecting my entry, I should probably better say. Again, just felt like deja vu, which makes me quite uncomfortable. Nice work, Tim. Hey, 800 bucks on the day is really, really well done. I mean, theoretically, this is kind of setting up now for a downside move on that little rejection. I just wish that it was through low of day, right? Like I'm down. Oh, there we go. All right, so I'm down like 600 bucks. Let's see if we can find a nice little breakdown here or a nice little high conviction setup. But yeah, I should have finished on the day green. Yeah, Austin, I know. Like I said on what was it, Wednesday? I don't know why it wasn't showing up on my travel setup. I don't know why it was different. So that's why, yeah, kind of drives me insane. Like when technology isn't consistent across devices, it's like I don't know what the hell goes on at that point. Okay, so maybe we're back in business here after another fake out through low of day. That very much is trap EPA. Good little reversal scenario here. I'll try this on the 2-min preferably first, just to get the tight risk reward. And then theme of the day, don't be an idiot. Don't be an idiot. Don't be an idiot. Don't be an idiot. Right? I've made a couple of mistakes here. Nothing egregious, but I've just made it more difficult for myself than I need to here today. Be 1 for 3 down 600 when I should be up. I should have been green on all 3 of my trades. God, it makes you feel like a dumbass. So I've just, yeah, made it more difficult for myself than I need to have been. Is what it is. That's okay. I don't mind acknowledging when I make mistakes. It happens. It happens a lot. I don't make mistakes with my stop loss price too often, like operational ones like that. That's like, 1 in 200 trades type. But it does happen. Okay, so looking at a 123 here. Maybe a bit tighter. 121. So 11 points would be 2 contracts. I can get that even tighter. That would be better. Just wait. Inside bar might be able to tighten it up a little bit. Let's see if it gets a little fake. Oh, what a life. All right. 124, 16 points. One contract. I don't know if that's worth it. It's a little bit better. So it'd be a 124 stop loss. Kind of an annoying number, actually. And let's see, we get the fake out. And all I'm trying to do here, guys, right, is try to get as tight risk as I can so that if I lose really small, right? I'm not optimizing for big wins. I'm optimizing for small losses. Always. Again, maybe we can get an opportunity here. Stop would be 133 right now. A bit higher potentially. 134. 7 points of risk. Let's go, Scott. $900 on the day. Congratulations. Very well done. Okay, guys, so I'm watching here on a little gentle pullback. Come on. Motherfucker. Mean. Again, this should go increasing volumes. We'll have another chance at this. And no FOMO, nothing along those lines, right? Play the price action that's in front of you. Okay, solid close. Let's see if we can. 34. I don't want a 134 stop unless you can get a really deep pullback here. Okay, this could be the fake out. Watch this carefully. And fake out won't be valid right until it goes under 134. AMD 212. So that's seemingly finding a bottom from that 208. Okay, let this candle close. It's an inside bar for now, so that increasing volume's not really too important to me. Ooh. So that for sure was a capitulation, on CL. So we did a good job not falling for that trap. Like the volume was almost like too big. That makes sense. And can I get a tight risk reward here somewhere? Nice work, Mark. 4,200 on the day is fantastic. Double inside bar here, so still being patient. $7.53, so still early. Okay, again, watch for the little fake out here. Might happen pretty early on this first candle, so this could be very quick, guys, right? Could be very, very quick. And then stop loss would be low, right, of entry candle. Okay. Don't be a dumbass. Don't be a dumbass. That's all I'm thinking in my head, right? Follow my system. Don't be greedy. Don't feel like I need to chase anything. That's not the reality. I'm one trade away from being very nicely green, one trade away from all-time highs in the portfolio. If I'm too aggressive here, I'll make it two, right? Which I don't need to do. Okay, let's see if this is it. 132.50 stop loss. Hey guys, I am in 135.25, 135.25. There it goes. Beautiful. I got 5 contracts on this, guys. I got 5 contracts on this. Come on. Come on, come on, come on. What was your fill? Guys, I am out of this trade. I am out of this trade, out at entry price, 1 tick. I'm going to try this again here potentially. I was early. Try this again potentially. Okay, how many contracts? Again, don't, like, if you guys are going to wait for me to say that I'm in, use my reference price, right, as your entry target. So then wait till it's below that price or better. Don't chase above. Chris, that is not a yikes. That is not a yikes. Okay, guys, I am back in 147. Stop loss 142. 147, stop 142. I want to get out of this already. All right, I'm out, guys. I am out. Again, 147 exit price. Felt early. Try this again. Nice work, Joel. So I have an idea, right? But I'm just trying to get my entry timing here correct. Entry timing has been a little bit iffy. But I'll keep taking up those little base hits, right? Now it's like 426 down on the day. We can try this again. Not really a big deal. Here's going to be a 148 stop. Let's go, Earl. Congratulations. That's fantastic. Okay, so looking for a pullback here, guys. Nice and gentle. Let's go, Chris. 1,300 bucks on that's fantastic. You watch the little fake out here. Nice work, Courtney. Again, right? Forcing ourselves to lose small makes it easy to win big. That is the cheat code, right? That is the cheat code. Now this is starting to get into falling knife territory, so got to be careful again. Not really seeing that elevator bounce up, which is why I'm being patient. That's much better. Okay, guys, I am in long, 148 on the dot, 148 on the dot. Come on, push, push, push. There it goes. I'm just stacking up little base hits here. Oh, fighting a sneeze. Beautiful. There's 500. 525. Let's keep pushing. Keep going. Keep going. Okay, there's 1,000. 1,200. Keep pushing. Here we go. Come on. One more pop in ya. NQ. One more pop in ya, I believe. There we go. There's 17, 18. All right, guys, I've taken that. I am out. I am all out. Exit price 165.50. 165.50. Let's go. And Chris, right? Hopefully you caught that. That should have put you nicely green here on the day. You did a very good job, right, of managing your risk and staying in the game. So that's why I fought back against you saying that yikes, right? Because that wasn't a bad decision or bad risk management, right? So hopefully you caught that. Nice little exit there, guys. All right, and that puts me at just a little bit under 1,100 on the day. Maybe we can get another setup here, another reattempt. Let's go, guys. Let's go. $1,400 on the day, Jason. Congratulations. $1,700 on the day. Let's go. And again, guys, right? All we're doing is focusing on trying to be the best losers possible because it makes it easy for us to be green, right? We control the variables we can't control. We don't make our losses a pain in the ass. And then we're always one decision away, right, from being back to where we want to be. I know it's kind of frustrating, but that's the point, right? That's the point. We're the best loser wins, and we're living that out here in a lot of detail. Hey, Austin, that's okay, man. Prove to yourself that you can do it, right? Build up that muscle memory. Let's go, Earl. 6 green trades, my man. What's that on the day? It's got to be a monster. $18.50. Let's go. Huge. Fantastic session. You pretty much traded better than me here today, right? Everyone who's outperformed my $1,100 here has traded better than me. That is unbelievable. $2,300. Let's go. Huge days for the team, guys. Love it. Yeah, so this was my reversal confirmation, right? And then basically looking to play entries off of every increasing volume candle, right? So as long as this idea hasn't been invalidated at 1042, I got no reason to think that this idea is wrong, right? So we were just playing quick entries because we were trying to get our timing to be correct. If our timing wasn't correct, we were just getting out, resetting, getting in partial, and trying to find another entry. So this was the thesis. It just took us 3 times or 3 attempts, right, to basically get that follow through that we were eventually looking for. But it feels good, guys. That feels really good. Let's see if the market's got anything left for us. Yeah, Earl, that's really well done, man. So I know it sucks, but it is best loser wins. And we have to really focus on not making our losers painful because we can remain impartial and still be able to trade. So very proud of everyone who was able to do that quite successfully here today. Some of the P&L numbers I'm seeing are fantastic. And I love it, team. I absolutely love it. I see a lot of 1800s. I see a lot of thousands. I see a lot of plus 2Ks. And all we do, guys, right? Like my win rate is my most overrated trading statistic. It is borderline meaningless. So proud of you guys for living that out because it's so important. Let's go, Kyle. Well done. Oh, what a life. Let's go, Roberto. Green on the day? Nice work. Well done. Hit the fight today a little bit, but that's super positive, dude. Congratulations. How are you guys feeling with your timing on the fake out entries? How's everyone feeling on those? Yeah, it has made a big difference, eh, Nick? Would there be any interest in a video on it? I mean, maybe I've done one in the past. I can't remember if I have. But yeah, I can come up with something this week if you guys give me a bit of time. I have it's a little bit of sad news, but I picked up my dog from my dog walker or dog sitter yesterday, and the poor guy's got a really bad limp. So I got to take him to the vet here today. So I probably won't have time to film something here this afternoon. But maybe tomorrow or Wednesday I should be able to, if you guys bear with me a day or two. I think poor little Ricky tore something in his leg. Really sad. Oh, I mean, prayers for Lamar, but I don't know how you guys feel, but every time I leave my dog with my dog sitter or dog walker or whatever, and then I come back after a week away, he always looks so much older. It's so sad. It breaks my heart. It's not like I'm not looking for anything unique, Tim. It's just once I have confirmation or I have a setup, it's basically just want to see the other side fail. If it fails, right, it's not going to bounce back above, say, 160, right? So if I was looking, let's go 156, right, would be my stop loss here right now. Not interested in this trade at the moment, but if I were, right, 156 would be my stop loss. So then all I'm saying is, okay, if bears are going to fail, they're going to fail trying to break down under 156. And that's going to look like a move below and then a quick bounce back up and over that area. If they're strong, right, they're going to break down through 156 and keep breaking maybe to 150 or 152 or something along those lines. So it's basically just then saying, okay, if bulls are strong, they're going to defend that and they're going to bounce it back up. If they're weak, they're going to fail here. So let's just wait, right, for one side to fail. So it's basically establish confirmation and then say, okay, if my confirmation is wrong, what would it look like? If my confirmation is fine, what would it look like? And it would be make a lower low, but not hold under would be the fake out. Right. So here, right, if we were looking at that, our fake out would be the low of our confirmation or the low of our entry. And then we look to enter, right, once it bounces back up above with the stop loss at the low of your entry candle. The video, someone mentioned here, Chris, you mentioned the stop loss techniques for to avoid getting faked out. It's a little bit of a different video topic, right? That's more about setting up your execution to account for the spread or just various techniques that you could use, right, for dealing with that. Yeah, so what's my most recent confirmation? This was my signal that I'm looking to trade off of, which is a reversal back to the upside, right? If I then, let's just turn this into a line chart, it'll be a little bit easier to see. But since that reversal, right, it's been a straight line higher. So this continues to be my signal that's pushing price action. Once I see that signal, a little fake out, low or low, doesn't kill me as long as it doesn't hold, right? So like if we look at basically all the moves since then, we've made little fake outs, but none of them have held under the previous candle, right? So it gives us a move, but it doesn't close and hold under the previous lower low. And so if we see that, right, our idea is not wrong. It just requires a slightly different entry to be able to catch it easily. What I like about the fake out techniques, probably your win rate on them is maybe a little bit lower, but you're able to keep your risk. I mean, getting risk of like 5 points on NQ is pretty crazy. Not sure yet. I mean, we still got some volatility here in store, so I'm not like completely done here. Maybe I should be, but I don't know, kind of feels like it's flagging a little bit. I mean, it's kind of technically outside of my kill zone. I don't know. All right, see how it couldn't close under? Close, made a quick little lower low, then bounced back above. Still kind of a fake out. Now, the fake out spot we'd be caring about here would be more like 147-ish. All right, here's my last increasing volume candle. We've still not been able to hold the lower low under that, right? Pretty impressed about how the dip buyers buy this market. So once you pass your eval handcrafted, what's going to happen here is you want to not place any further trade. So once your balance is 159, and yeah, you'll get an email end of day, fill out your forms, yada yada yada, and then you'll get a new account. With that account, any dollar that you then make after, you'll be able to withdraw a P&L on. So it won't continue from 159. You'll get a new account, reset to 150, and then any profits you generate over, in some places have different buffers, but let's just say hypothetically, once you're up $10 above your starting balance, you can withdraw 90% of whatever you generate or whatever their payout rules are. How's everyone feeling? Everyone doing well? Everyone okay? Depends, right? Again, on each company. No, you can keep trading multiple accounts at one. Not sure if I quite understand your question, Chris. Could you rephrase it? For me, this kind of looks a little bit like it's bull flagging a bit, which is why I'm still a bit interested here. But Mike, when you set up your trade copiers, if that's the path that you choose to do, you can copy eval accounts with live accounts. Right? So it doesn't matter. Yeah. So the main thing to consider there basically is just how your drawdown is going to be impacted, right? So once you're taking a payout, right? If you're not leaving that a certain amount of drawdown after, say you're up to say 155, right? Well, now your drawdown is to 150 towards your starting balance of your account. If you pull out 4,500 bucks, your drawdown is still only going to be to 150K. So you'll have $500 worth of drawdown, not 4,500 from that point, right? So you choose over how much you want to take and how big of a buffer you want to leave. Make sense? Personally, I like to keep about 15K worth of buffer, 10 to 15K worth of buffer in my accounts. And so basically every payout window where I'm eligible, I'm taking to as much, or I'm taking out as much as I possibly can, right? And then it really depends on how aggressively you want to cycle through your accounts and stuff like that. If you're just, hey, every time I make 5K, I'm closing and taking it all, dude, that's not a bad thing, right? If you stack up 5K every 2 weeks from your accounts, it's a pretty nice living, right? That you can make. Yeah, I would say a bit of a sloppy trading day in from my perspective. I made probably 3 mistakes that I don't like. But like, it's okay to make execution mistakes. Those are fine. Like, those don't kill you. The mistakes that kill you are psychological and risk management based. So like, I don't really expect myself to be perfect. I kind of expect myself to be able to just like flip a coin 10 times. And if I flip it 10 times, I'm going to be green at the end of it. Maybe 10's too small of a sample size, but let's say 100 times. And as long as my math is solid, I'll be green. If I start to get like sloppy and lazy with those variables, that's where I start to get into a lot of danger. But like today probably should have been a 3K day, maybe a bit more. Like left $1,000 on the table on that first trade with just setting my stop loss at the wrong price, right? Just didn't sanity check my executions. And then just didn't close probably as aggressively as I needed to on a couple trades. That's okay. I mean, it's a part of it. Annoying, but it's a part of it. Yeah, 100%, Chris, because everyone has a number that breaks them, right? Everyone has a P&L number that breaks them. So the more and more we can be proactive about making that number really, really hard to hit, easier it is for us to remain impartial and then make a good decision, right, to get us back to green and then some. And the smaller that P&L hit is per loss, the less ego basically that we spend, right, taking that hit. And that changes things very aggressively and very quickly. Okay, so I think we have a chance here for kind of like that bull flag breakout. Yeah, and Kyle, and since you committed to doing that, right, what a difference you've seen in your trading. And so to a certain extent, like that's why I get a little bit annoyed when people are asking me to figure out their position sizing for them, because I can't remember what everyone's number is, right? Like I don't take enough Tylenol to be able to do that. So like everyone has to be selfish in that context, right? How can I set myself to protect myself from myself? Because no one else is going to come to save you. And so the more accountable you are to yourself in that context, the more money you'll make. because it isn't about trying to swing for the biggest home runs. It's about finding a way to survive your mistakes so that you can spend time in the market to get paid. Okay, this is very, very interesting. Like, here's your bull flag, right? We're trying to see a nice little breakout here. We got increasing volume. Kind of a lazy drawing, but you guys get the point. There's your bull flag. So let's see. And then just the number we want to keep in mind here, right, is like 185, right? That's the last time we've seen bulls get stuffed and fail. So that's a number we're keeping in mind here. Yeah, let's see. Is it going to get a little fakey? A little shake and fake? Let's see. Maybe not. That was a pretty good bounce. So 168 would be the stop loss. Okay, watch the fake out here. Not a fast enough bounce. Much better. Okay, much, much better. So 168 stop. Be patient. Be patient. There's another fake out. Now it might want to go just under low of day. There we go. And now we need to see it bounce, right? Back up above this. Right? So far it hasn't. So far I know I can't be looking to buy this fake out because it hasn't bounced back up above that blue line. And realistically, right, doesn't really seem like it's behaving that way. Target price, red line at the upper end, right? So target price is always like they're mapped out for you guys with the indicator, right? It's these red lines. So unless we're outside of those red lines, we're always targeting those. If we've had a really big move, range is 100 points, maybe I'll target high of day or something like that, or low of day. But by default, it's always those red lines. If you mean target entry price, right, would be the fake out or the previous low, right? So this blue line. So if I was looking for it to flush under, then bounce back above, target entry price would be 166, right? Reference price will always be that blue line. So then if I were to map it out, right, stop loss would be 159. Hypothetically, right, didn't close back up above, and then entry 166 or better. Make sense? So reference price or entry target will always be that blue line. Okay, it's starting to look. I don't know, maybe not worth trading this bullshit. Let's see, 31. How that 5-min look? I wish this was outlier volume. The fact that it's not maybe is a bit of a pain in the butt. Hmm. I don't know if I'm good. How long has it been stuck here? 25 minutes? Eventually it's going to pop. Oh, fuck you, Trading View. And bearish failure. Looking at a 167 for now. Wouldn't say I trust this yet. It's not moving with enough enthusiasm, right? Where it feels like best case scenario, I'm going to be early on an entry here. Far from ideal. And again, now in context, right, this looks like a fake out because how quickly we've been able to recover and pull this back, right? Like, okay, if bears were strong, why didn't they keep pushing? Oh, they weren't. Bulls just defended, right, that 160. So what I'm trying, and I think I've gotten a little bit better at doing, is trying to trade my strategy philosophically versus rigidly. And I know that's maybe a little bit confusing, but I'm trying to play the big picture instead of getting like zooming in too much on like this is this is this, because I think yeah, trading absolutes like that is kind of a death sentence sometimes. I don't know, maybe that's a bit confusing, but it's important. So kind of looks like a bit of a fake out there. So you go 169 would be the stop here. Reference price would be that. Okay, guys, I am in 172.75, stop loss 169. I mean, this thing went right away. Yeah, I'm out of it already. I'm out of it already for a quick $300. It popped, stalled, excuse me, popped, stalled, made my heart skip, take it and run. Again, you don't get paid for being early, right? So I also think the other thing I've gotten much better at in the last month is if like the trade doesn't feel exactly the way that I want or expect at entry, I'm just getting out, right? Sometimes I'm wrong on that. Sometimes I'm correct, but more often than not, it actually saves me money. So I'll try this again. I don't have any problems in trying an idea more than once. It's not really a big deal to me. That's okay. I'm sitting on $1,400 here now. It's not a bad day. And now we want to see, right, if this thing can bounce back up and over. All right, so this was approximately where it was, 172.25. Probably not enough separation yet to really call that a fake out. Three points of risk, very tight, very reasonable. Okay, there it is. A little bit better. Okay, so now it'd be 169. Still maybe a little bit slower as a reaction than I would like to see post fake out bounce. I'm still slowing myself down here just a little bit. I think we still got some lows we could attack. Okay, beautiful. So now we're looking 166, right? 166 would be the stop. Let's see if it finds some support. Might have just missed it. Just remember, right? Wait for the elevator bounce back after the fake out, right? When it was as tight as it was, really hard to see an elevator because it's like an elevator going up one story is not really that much faster than taking the stairs, right? So we need there to be some separation for us to have some context. Okay, fine. Still in business here. Be looking like this probably. It was a very good bounce. Still just waiting here. Still just waiting. Needs to get over, right, that blue line before I'm interested in an entry in the first place. So just be patient. For now, this is still quote unquote pullback entry technique. Okay, there it is. So now we're possibly looking, right, the 174 stop. Okay, guys, I am in average price 178.50. Actually, kind of got a shitty fill. 178.50. Let's see if this thing can go. Come on. I want to fly like an eagle, right? That's what we want here. A little bit longer for me to get separation from my entry price, which I don't like. Let's see if it can pop here. See if it can pop. Again, that 185, right? That's the number we're, I don't want to say scared of, but back of our mind, we're thinking about that. We've seen bulls get rejected aggressively before. I don't think this is behaving how I want. Come on, keep pushing. Okay, keep going, keep going, keep going. There's another 500, right? So far, so good. Okay, watch this, right? There it goes, guys. There's $1,000. Let's fucking go. 190, 193. Watch for 200 now. Come on, come on. So a little bit early on that entry, I would say. A little bit early on that entry, but okay, better reaction. The thing I'm fighting a little bit here was that a 190 rejection. That's kind of like what I'm trying to sort through in my complicated brain. There's 16, 18, 19. So if we can get one more decent pop here, I would love to get through 200. $196. It's a good looking candle. I got no reason to be scared here. I just don't like that it's stalling right before 2. Okay, so I've pyramided in here. Average price is now 185. Stop loss is protecting above that price now. It's a hard stop loss at 189. There it goes, guys. There it goes. That's a 3K trade. 32, 35. Let's fucking go. All right. I'm all out. 275. 275. I am all out. All done. I'm not going to place another trade here on the day. Epic, 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 epic session, guys. Let's go. Boom. 43.99.03 on the day per account. Cannot complain about that. And I for sure closed this early. But that's an epic, epic day. Let's go. Everyone held through that here today. Yeah. Everyone green. Let's go. Nice work, Chris. Nice work, guys. Love it, love it, love it. Huge session. That's my biggest day in a while. That's awesome. That was a lot of fun. Let's go, Joe. Nice work. Courtney, $1,400. Chris, well done, right? You managed your risk very, very well. So again, I want you to reframe, right, how you were managing your risk at the start of the day. You were doing everything well. So don't like talk yourself into feeling worse about it than you need to. Nice work, Tony. Let's go, Derek. That's huge. Hey, Eric, $1,000, man. That's a great day. That is a great, great day. Hell yeah, team. Hell yeah. What a feeling. And we for sure closed out a little bit early, but I'll take it. I'll take it and run. Profitable traders are always closing their trades early because they're closing before the market turns, right? Yeah, I'll take them out after my one-on-one calls here today. Poor little buddy. All right, guys, any questions here? Any questions? Hey, enjoy. it's a nice little it's a nice little reward for a good trading day. But yeah, that was huge, guys. That was huge. Does that make sense? October 1st was my last trading day. Yeah. Huge day, guys. So I think that's 12 total trades here on the day. 7 and 5. That was fun. That was really fun. So if that doesn't convince you guys to be an psycho obsessive with managing your risk, I don't know what will, right? That's about as good of a proof of concept as we can possibly ever create. It's fun. I got up to 10 contracts at the end, right? So 5 to start, 5 to add. And like, I don't know, 4 points of risk, something like that. Let's freaking go, Derek. Awesome day, guys. Awesome, awesome, awesome session. That was so much fun. Everyone feeling good? We'll make sure we get these all these trades edited up, right? So if you missed something or you're not sure what we did, just bear with me tomorrow. We'll be able to oh, wrong one. Whoops. We'll be able to you'll be able to rewatch all the decent trades. The ones where I hold for 30 seconds, probably no. But that was an awesome day. Everyone feel good? My YouTubers, how you guys feeling? Beautiful, guys. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Awesome, Powell. Like to hear that. Yeah, good job here today, team. That was a lot of fun. And look here, confirmation, fake out, and then it goes, right? So like we're seeing that pattern play out a lot more. And that's been a really nice, nice little reversal. So huge day. I think probably one of our biggest team days in a very, very long time. And yeah, that was an absolute blast, guys. I had a lot of fun trading today. Absolutely tremendous day. All right, guys, I'm going to go final call for questions here. Final call for questions. All right, guys. So same deal like always, right? If you have any questions, hit me up outside of market hours. Otherwise, right, same deal like always. We'll be back at it again here tomorrow, and we'll talk then. Peace.